Hi guys, welcome to 2025 and the first journaling video of the year, again with voiceover so I can explain some of the things I'm doing in the video. This year's journal is a lined notebook for me. I love the B5 format, so that's what I chose. The journal is made by FocusDay. It's got 320 pages, which I find absolutely amazing. I love a thick journal, and I can't wait to break into this. What we're going to do is we're going to set up the 2025 cover page, and then we're going to set up January and the first week of January. What I've grown to do in the last year is I'm going to set up the month week by week. That gives me enough space to maybe do a specific spread that I want to do in the journal after a week. For example, after the first week of January, I'm going to have a New Year's Eve spread just because I couldn't incorporate that in my last journal. And that way, the journal has still enough space for me to do daily spreads if I feel like it. But in the 320 pages, I'm pretty sure I can squeeze the entire year in by dividing each page into 4 days regularly. As usual, I used Microsoft's Bing Image Creator to create stickers and backgrounds for this year's theme, which is Maine. Maine is an absolute love of mine. I've only been there once, but I love anything coastal. I love anything ocean, the rough ocean with the cliffs, not so much the sandy beaches. So this is what I went with this year. Here I'm just getting out some stickers of letters and words that I'm going to incorporate, and then I'm going to cut out the main image for the Hello 2025 spread. I'm ripping off the edges so it looks a little bit more distressed, and I'm also going to incorporate some scrapbook paper that I found in my stash. Now, when I use scrapbook paper in my journal spreads, I try to find the thin one, the flimsy scrapbook paper, because even though I love a bulky journal, I don't like it too bulky to where I'm going to run into spine issues in the middle of the year. And as usual, I'm going to do this for the upper left and the lower right corner. I'm going to attach the paper with my glue tape roller, and I use the edge trimmer or edge cutter to round the edges so it would lay flush with the edges of the journal. I gotta admit, when Bing created this background image, it literally broke my heart. It incorporated everything I wanted. I had to tweak the prompt a little bit to get the images that I wanted, but once I got there, I was so happy with them. And I'm telling you guys, every time I open up my journal to this page, my heart is just full of joy and inspiration. And I'm really happy that I was a little bit patient with the prompts and tried different wordings and different formulas until I arrived at the images that Bing created for me. Some more glittery stars to the page, not too much. I wanted to keep it simple. And with that, the 2025 cover page is done. Moving on to the name page, I actually used the wrong Tombow dual brush marker, so I had a different color scheme in mind before I decided to change my mind and go with a different sticker. But I'm actually gonna change that at the end of this page, and I'm gonna use a different marker to go over it again. For this page, I decided to use another big background image that was created by Bing, and you can see me using my craft knife to cut it out of the sticker sheet. I'm using the Koala matte sticker paper for inkjet printers. I did use that with my LaserJet printer. It didn't pose a problem at all. And I'm just tracing the edges as best as I can. Once you get used to the craft knife, it almost is automatic, like using a pen. And then I'm going to place the sticker sort of in the middle of the left-hand page. Always make sure that you close your journal when you use stickers that go over the spine, and give the journal a little bit of time to adjust. And I actually had to lift the sticker off again and readjust it, but you won't see that in the video. I edited that out. But you can see the little bit of crease there in the house, and I didn't want to have that in my spread. I also am using these fabulous stickers by Indie Navy ink. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly. I found them in a store. And these stickers are the Life in Bloom sticker sheets that come with the whole monthly setup, and very, very cute stickers. Like you see the books and makeup, and everything is very, very indulgent, and I love them to pieces, and I'm so looking forward to using them throughout my entire journal. Now I'm going to add some quotes to the name page because I felt it was kind of empty, and I'm a huge fan of making sure that I'm using all of the space a journal is giving me. Sometimes that can end up being a little cluttered, but I love these quotes and I wanted them at the beginning of my year. The first one is: denying yourself the chance to fail is denying yourself your humanity, which I loved. Then I wrote down: I know you want to save the world. I want you to know that it's okay if you only save one person, and it's okay if that person is you, because I want to focus on myself this year. Free people make free choices. Free choices mean you get unequal outcomes. You can have freedom or you can have equal outcomes. You can't have both. That goes back to the whole theme of life being messy and business being messy and being okay with failing. Then I'm also using this really, really gorgeous set by the Carta paper company, and it's called By the Sea and fit the Maine theme perfectly. Show you the vision board process in this video, as this is a pretty intimate process to me. Maybe I'll share a picture of it later. Now we're moving on to the year at a glance, which was a very, very complicated page that took me a very long time. And I later found out that one of the things that I'm using for the calendar spread actually had a year at a glance in it for 2025, but I didn't see that in time. So here we are creating one from scratch, but I don't mind that very much because I love the paper that I used. I think it goes so well with the Maritime theme, and it kind of was a lot of fun to create that. Plus, the calendar stamps that I got off of Amazon have really been a lifesaver, and I've used them in almost every single monthly spread I've done since I've got them, and I can only highly recommend them. I put the link in the description box below. Multi-purpose spray adhesive by Elmer's for all of my bigger papers that I'm gluing into the journal, but I wanted to let you know that usually it's not that spotty. It's just because the bottle is almost empty, and I had to work it a little bit that you can see those specks of glue coming through the paper. But I love Elmer's glue spray. It's my favorite adhesive for projects like this, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that those spots were just me handling it badly, and it's got nothing to do with the glue itself. So as you can see with the calendar stamps, you can essentially assemble an entire calendar year. It gives you all of the month's names, it gives you different monthly setups, and it gives you the title with the letters for the days with it, and you can essentially use it forever to create your calendar spreads wherever you need them. The set also comes with little stamps that help you to mark certain days that have check marks on them and check boxes, so it's really versatile. And like I said, I can only recommend it. Here I'm using more stamps that go with the Maritime theme. I wanted to do some background stamping, so the first round I'm always stamping off to the side so that the actual images that I'm putting in the backgrounds of the calendar only have a faint hue and you can just see them in the background. Distress the edges with some more coffee ink by Archival ink, which is one of my favorite ink brands because they don't fade over time. That's why they're called Archival inks. And then I'm using a very simple Post-it to create space next to each little calendar so I can add important dates as reminders. Going back to the very beautiful sticker sheet of the By the Sea scrapbook kit and just adding different motifs all over the page. And then I didn't want to do the entire title Year at a Glance because I find that very obvious, but I wanted to add a title and chose to go with 2025. And with that, our Year at a Glance spread is done. Moving on, we're going to create the January calendar. And this time I was sneaky because I not only used scrapbook paper for the background, but I also found an old monthly journal from the Dollar Tree that I had gotten at one of the consignment stores. I got a bunch of them in a pack for very little money. I think I paid like $3 for 10 of them. And I always grab paper stuff like that because I always feel like I can use it. I've cut down on that quite a bit because now my motto is de-stashing. But what I did was I went through the monthly planner until I found a month of last year that started on a Wednesday, like January 2025. And then I used these pages. I separated them very carefully and trimmed the rest that I didn't need to create my January calendar without much effort. This Twilight Designs washi tape that I am madly in love with. It goes so well with the color theme of January and the rest of the journal. And I used that washi tape all throughout January to set up my first week, and also as background for the title. Then I used glue tape to attach the calendar pages to the pages of the journal. And as you will see, I will also use stickers to cover some of the holidays that were added to the calendar of last year that, of course, don't go for the calendar of this year. And so I covered them up to not get confused. Our January calendar is done. Now we're going to move on to the social media schedule and the budget page for January. The social media schedule I have on my computer and will have to print out later, but I'm going to show you how I created the budget spread, which is really just a page for me to take notes. I'm using the Ramsey method of 50-30-20. Which means 50% of the income goes towards needs like rent and transportation. 30% goes towards wants, which means I can spend that on entertainment, on clothes, on things that I want to afford with our income, and 20% go towards savings and or debt. And that way I make sure that I don't overspend, that I don't go out of budget. But I got to say, I'm still getting used to the system. I'm not particularly good with math. I've got one of those creative brains that frowns at the sights of numbers. But I'm trying to make it work for myself, and I've gotten better. I've been implementing the system for a good 3 to 4 months now, and I've definitely gotten much better at spending, and I can already tell that it's making a difference in our overall household. After embellishing the page with some more stickers, because what else would you expect from me, our budget and social media spread is done for now. Like I said, I'm going to add some more things later, logically, because right now there is no social media schedule, but I couldn't share that in the video yet because I hadn't set up the system yet. Now we're moving on into the first week of January, and my spread is always the same. It's a tried and tested method that I've developed last year, I think during I would say December and November at least, where I separate the page in 2 columns, 2 days per page. So you see me measuring out the middle, and then I do a squiggly line to separate them. I do that line squiggly on purpose because I just like the style better than just straight lines. I'm using the same gorgeous washi tape by Twilight Designs to create a background for the day names, and then I'm going to use a Sharpie pen to add those names. And you will see here in a second that making a mistake. Instead of putting Thursday, I'm putting Tuesday, but that's the great thing about washi tape. You can just lift it up from the page and erase that mistake. I'm saving that one for later. I'm putting it in the back of the journal, and then I'm fixing my mistake and putting in Thursday. step in creating a weekly spread is separating my daily goals from the journaling space. I'm just using a thin washi tape, and I am madly in love with the fact that it's just as wide as the lines in the journal, which is nothing I planned, but which was a great coincidence. And then I'm using a stencil. Again, the stencil fit perfectly for how the lines were spaced. And I'm using the same Tombow marker to just create 3 check boxes per day, because that's a system that works for me. 3 goals per day, not less, not more. That gives me enough space to put my priorities business-wise, health-wise, and household-wise, but I'm not going to overdo it. And after adding some more stickers to embellish the page, our first week of January is set up. On the next page, I'm going to add the Sunday, and then the second column of that page is used for notes, which serves as a space to have a weekly summary or things I want to remember. And then I have a page for New Year's Eve that I'm going to add later. And with that, our setup for the first week of January is done. And I've officially broken into my journal for 2025, and I could not be more excited. I can only recommend to you guys to stay focused and to keep journaling, because over the year 2024, I got so much better at journaling and staying consistent with it. I found a system for myself that works, and I couldn't be happier about that. Happy journaling, you guys. Thanks so much for watching.